Hey, y'all. Welcome in. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day, whatever you would like to call it and like to say. Um, but happy Wednesday. So I am actually kind of excited to be hopping on here to talk about this topic tonight because it has come up several times in several rooms that I've been in here lately over the past few weeks. Also with some conversations with some of my mentors that I've been having and just some other colleagues as well, and other small business owners as well, as to all of the things that we are basically coming up against because of the economy shifting. And again, like, I know people don't like to talk about the R word going on as far as, recessions and stuff like that. They've been trying to cover it up for some time, but I do believe that a lot of people, regardless of what they covered up or try to say about it, have been affected from it, have been impacted from it, right? So the conversation that has been coming up lately is, how do you, as a business owner, as a small business owner, think about how to pivot your business in a current economy such as this? And so the thing is, there's several different variables that go into it. It's not a one size fits all situation. It's not a only this can be true situation. There are different things that go into it. And I don't have any notes tonight, so I'm just going to be talking from the dome. So if you need to take notes, make sure you jot them down. If you need to watch the replay of this, make sure you come back and watch the replay because I'm going to leave it up. I'm not going to take this down. If you're watching, let me know that you're watching and say, hey, so I can acknowledge you. But I invite you to have the conversation with me and kind of be interactive with me as well, too. And share this with somebody that you know, because we're all, as small business owners, feeling the impact from the shifts in the economy and the shifts in consumer behavior. So I think this is a very insightful and thoughtful conversation. But again, like, how do you, as a small business owner, take what's going on currently in business, in the economy, um, in your industry specifically, in your personal life, all of those things? How do you take all of those different variables and try to determine what's the best route for you to go for your business? And again, like I said, there's several different variables that goes into it. So it's not like a one size fits all type of thing, but there are some things that you should consider, right? So if you read my caption attached to this live, there are several things that we are facing. Some of us have had lack of sales. Some of us have had lack of leads. Some of us have lack of relationships. Some of us have only been conditioned to depend on referrals. And now it's like we need to go hunt for what it is that we want. Some of us have been too dependent on social media. And now the world is going back to doing things in person, and it's going back to really having to put your feet to the pavement to show up for yourself and show up for your business. Some of us have lack of clarity. Some of us don't have enough variation of offers that we offer. Some of us are not on the right platform. Some of us are not serving the right people or right audience according to what type of brand we have, and what type of services we're offering. And in the past, I've been guilty of several of those. But here's the thing: what you all have to understand is that for us, especially minority business owners, most businesses fail within the first 5 years. Like, we've heard that several times, but it's true. And the only thing that you really should be focused on in that 0 to 5 year period is to ensure that you are um, just sustaining, like you're just making cash flow. Your job in the first 5 years of your business is to just sustain. It's not necessarily to make profit. And this is not saying that for those who have been able to, that this discounts what they have been able to do. Not by any means. However, because most small businesses do not survive past 5 years, you need to understand that your job and your role from 0 to 5 years on your business journey is to just be sustainable and to continue to refine what it is that you're offering and who you're offering it to. That is what that time period is for. It's not all about profits. It's about having cash flow so you can pay your business bills, right? But it's not all about having a profit, because you're still trying to refine who you are. You're still trying to refine what you do. You're still trying to refine who you do it for. You're still trying to refine how you do it and what resources you need to connect yourself with to actually do it efficiently. That's what you should be focusing on your first 0 to 5 years. Now, for those of us that come into it and we hit the ground, and in their first 0 to 5 years, we're able to generate profit, whatever the case may be, that is great. That means you are above the status quo and you are above the norm, and you're helping to change the narrative as to what that looks like for small business ownership. We appreciate you. The economy also appreciates you, right? But for those of us that have basically been getting it in, bootstrapped up, and doing the best that we have been able to do with the knowledge and the resources that we have been able to have, it looks different, right? Every day may have looked different for us, right? Coming through this journey. So for those of us that have been able to sustain past that 5 year mark, this is where you can start getting more particular about, okay, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm doing it, and this is the direction that I'm going in. During that first 0 to 5 years, hey Juanita, during that first 0 to 5 years, you are still trying to figure that out. There's a lot of clarity that goes along with your identity as a business owner because you've never been a business owner before. And what people don't realize is as you are developing your business, you are also developing as a person. This is why I talk about all the time, have said it for years, that my skill set as a life coach and as a business coach, IELTS psychologist, business development consultant, however you want to refer to me, puts me at an advantage of those who just simply call themselves a business coach, period. Because there's a holistic lens that I look through. And so that holistic lens allows me to be able to see things that the average business coach or business consultant would not be able to see. Because what happens is in small business ownership, again, is that your identity is still developing, right? And even in other, size businesses as well too, but definitely in small business, your personal identity is still developing alongside with your business. So there's certain things that you did at the beginning of your business that when you got to a certain point in your business, they were no longer a great fit, or you determined that that's actually not the service that I want to do. That's actually not the service the product that I want to provide. That's actually not the group of people that I want to serve. I don't actually want that to be my client avatar. I don't actually want to reach this particular market. Those things change and evolve as you grow as a person and as a business owner. And so that first 0 to 5 years is for the explorative time of you trying to figure that out. And so it's really important, and during that time, that you build relationships, that you learn business acumen, that you get off of social media, which I cannot stress enough. You all have to come off social media and go into the real world. We are not, I mean, I know the vid is still around, but like it ain't, like y'all gotta stop. Because in real world, real business looks real different. The effort that you have to put in looks real different. The sustainability strategies that you have to create look very different. They do not look the same as to somebody who only relies on social media for their business. If you don't have an e-com business, there is no reason you should only be relying on social media for your business. Period. You should be getting off to go create a different type of relationship, a different type of imprint on your community, the relationships that you're building, and so forth. Period. There is no reason for you to be hiding behind a keyboard. One of my mentors in a class that I'm taking right now said yesterday he works in sales, or he used to work in sales. During the time he was working in sales, he had a mentor that was mentoring him and that he wanted to learn from. And he basically told him that he wanted to do everything that he told him to do because he wanted to be at the top of his company. And so that's what he did. And so one of the things that they discussed was, why wasn't his mentor ever in the office with all of the other people that were in the office, cackling, drinking coffee, tea, eating breakfast, whatever they was doing. Why weren't they in the office? Why wasn't he in the office? And so he explained to us that his mentor came and told him, the people that I'm selling to ain't coming to the office to be sold to. I have to get out here and hit the pavement. I have to get out here and put my foot to the streets. I have to get out here and build relationships, meet people in coffee shops, go to the co-working spaces, go to their business offices, show up at their job. I have to do those types of things to go make the sales. That's how I have became a top earner in the company. The people that are sitting in the office, they're not going to hit them type of goals because they're relying on somebody just coming to their establishment to be able to make sales. So one of the things that I know that plagues us as small business owners is nobody wants to sell. And the thing is, for nobody wants to sell and for you all to have this astronomically amount of high business revenue that you want to make, it makes no sense. Selling is a part of being in business. And if you aren't selling, if you aren't actively selling in your business, it makes it hard for you to have sustainability and to have customers that are coming in on a regular basis because you are expecting 24/7 that somebody is supposed to find you and pick you. You have the power to go and pick your people. All you have to do is put yourself in position to do so, which requires you to go out into the real world to do. So if your business is not just e-com of some kind, you have no excuse as to trying to figure out a way to do your business differently, to market your business differently, to figure out what your business model looks like from a different perspective. You have no excuse. And so there's only three ways that you are going to create some form of sustainability within your business. From my perspective anyway, right? You're either going to, if you're in a place right now to where you feel like you're having a hard time, and some of the things that I listed up there are plaguing you, these are the three options that you have. You can either go higher, which means you're going to serve a higher clientele and meet their need and demand on a higher level. What does higher look like, Tanika? It looks like you're going to enter into corporate spaces, government contract spaces, working with organizations, corporations, churches, those types of things, entities. People who, in most cases, are going to always have money to pay you regardless of what the economy looks like. Okay? Which means you'll be getting larger payouts for those services that you're doing or for those products that you are providing. You'll be getting larger payouts. Hey, Renee's on war. That's if you go higher, right? If you decide to serve higher and add B to B to your portfolio or B to G to your portfolio, that's what that looks like. So that's number one. Number two, you can go wide. I miss you, Tina. You could go wide, right? Here's the thing. If you decide to go wide in your business, having a wide reach in your business looks like you opening up your capacity as a business owner to execute out certain strategies. So what do I mean by that? Because of where the economy is right now, you have to understand that there may be some changes in your service offerings. There may be some changes in the pricings of your products. There may be some smaller products that you need to offer. There may be some bundle deals that you need to offer instead, right? Because of where things have gone into the economy. Everybody is looking to, you've been in the cut, I see. Everybody is looking to get the most for their dollar because they're pinching their pennies a whole lot tighter now. We don't have the influx of income that we had over the past 3 years. It has died down now. And now we got the instant gratification factor at the time, but now we're at the place to where we're feeling the results of what that instant gratification factor caused. So we're on the back end of that now. And a lot of people didn't understand that that was going to eventually come on the back end of all of that influx that was coming in, as far as influx of income that people were getting for the past 3 years. Now things are going back to how they were before, and probably a little bit worse, quite honestly, right? So people are looking for options, which means you need to have some form of ascension in your business model that is able to serve people at different levels to which they can afford. And for me, in the coaching and consulting space, I already saw this coming. I have been talking about this at least for the past 2.5 years, at least, because I saw the shifts start to happen in my industry in particular, and how consumers were reacting in particular 2.5 years ago. And now everything that I saw coming in my industry is starting to happen. So what you see is, you see a lot of service providers, you see a lot of coaches. I don't know why I gotta sneeze. You see a lot of coaches, you see a lot of consultants, service providers that bless me, that are having to pivot and go back to offering low ticket items, low ticket services, bundle services, mini containers, membership options, smaller accelerated programs. They're going back to having to do that. High ticket masterminds are not hot right now. They're just not. So people are going back, thank you. People are going back to having to offer that because they want to be able to have some sort of option for wherever people fall. You can't count the money in other people's wallets. However, you can give them option, right? So being a service provider and even selling products. And one of my friends actually just talked to me about this, right? During COVID, we went through this influx of people saying that they were luxury brands, right? Huge influx. During COVID, everybody's a luxury brand. Here's my thing, right? I'm not trying to demean anybody that deem themselves as that, but it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to actually be it. Which means the work ethic that comes with having to integrate and implement a luxury brand, that has to align with that. And what happened was, a lot of people were using that word in influx to where they drove it in the ground. And now all of a sudden, all of the luxury experiences that they were deeming as luxury, which weren't really luxury, have ran out because people don't have the extra cash flow to spend, right? I did that site said, child, they did not last. Exactly. It was a 2-second thing, right? It was just during the influx of which people had cash to just throw away. And so all of these quote unquote luxury brands that were claiming that that's what they were during that time, most of them are not around anymore because they didn't build a luxury strategy to support their luxury brand. Saying that you're a luxury brand is just one part of the equation. One part. You can say it, but best know that you have to work your way up to being that. And understanding what is required of a luxury brand to display itself, the marketing strategies that go behind it, the brand strategies that go behind it, all of those things. It's not basic stuff. You have to have really great business acumen and business strategy and advisory to be able to integrate and implement something like that, right? So now that that's no longer a thing, and a lot of those brands are not around anymore because they didn't understand the sustainability factors, especially when it came in terms of what industries they were claiming that they were luxury in. They didn't understand the sustainability factors that had to come with it. So what you're seeing now is people are having to go back to figure out, well, how do I pivot my offers? How do I pivot my products? How do I look at pricing? And truthfully and honestly, you may not necessarily have to lower your prices. It may be, again, that you just need to figure out how you want to serve. So going back to what I was saying in number 2, going wide. If you're going to go wide and you're going to sell a low ticket product, you have to understand that If it's a low ticket product, let's just say the product is $47, right? 47, 29, whatever you want to call it. However many that you're gonna have to sell to hit your number, whatever your number is, most small business owners are looking to just make 10K, 20K a month. Take that $29 or that $47 with your go wide strategy and understand that the amount of capacity of work that you're going to have to put in to hit whatever said number, let's just do the math, is going to require you to do a lot of footwork, and it's going to require you to do a lot of sustainability work on the back end because you're having to reach, maintain, and capture more people. That is when you have mass communications going in your business, right? It is double the work, if not triple the work, quite honestly. So if your bare minimum is you want to make 20K a month selling low ticket products, and your low ticket products range, like I said, between $29 up to like maybe $97. To me, low ticket is anything $500 and under. That's my personal definition. But we'll just go with the price point of $29. So we'll say $20,000 divided by 29. You're going to have to serve and close the sales of 690 people, which means that you are going to have to get the visibility in front of probably 5 times that many people. Why? Because everybody that sees your product the first time does not want to buy. Everybody that sees your product the second time does not want to buy. Everybody that sees your product, period, at any time does not want to buy. Why? Because everybody doesn't want your product. And a lot of what has came behind this slowdown in business as well too is the perspective of the mental state of thinking that everybody wants what I have to offer just because I offer it. And that's not true. If everybody bought everything that they saw all the time, like, do y'all understand like what would happen to the economy? Like, do y'all understand? What it said? It's not even people have to see it 7 times anymore. Tina, now it's people have to see it at least 21 to like 36 times before they make a buying decision. So it used to be people have to see it 7 to 10 times to make a buying decision. Now people have to see it like 21 to like 36 times before they're like, okay, I want it. But everybody that sees your product is not going to want to purchase it. So that's why you have to know your numbers. That's why your strategy has to align. Going wide, that's what that strategy looks like. That means you're going to have a mass communication system setups of a CRM, something that is able to hold a mass amount of people, and you're going to be able to hit them with a very good email marketing campaign structure strategy. You're probably going to be doing launches regularly throughout the year to create that sustainability factor as well too, because you're constantly trying to get leads to serve a wider audience. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3, you can go deep. These are the 3 ways that you can run your business. These are your options, right? So number 3, you can go deep. So in number 3, now is a good time to reintroduce yourself into a niche. So if you have something in particular that you want to zone in on and specialize in, now would be a good time. We started off with that. Then it got to, oh, you need to be a generalist. Now it's back to, it might benefit you to be in a niche, and in a niche that can keep you paid, right? So that means you're going to go deep on maybe 1 to 2 services, 1 to 2 products, 1 to 2 strategies that is going to help you create sustainability on those 1 to 2 things that you saw for a very particular audience. Your audience size or your audience type is a whole lot more selective because you're going deeper on a problem, right? So an example of this looks like, I'll give a great example. One of my past colleagues, Sasha, she's a health coach, but she's a health coach that specializes in womb healing, which means she helps women get rid of their fibroids, ovarian cysts. She helps them get pregnant. She helps them have heal their endometriosis, all of that. That is a very specific niche. PCOS, very specific. She could go back and say that she's just a general health coach. However, she probably would end up blending in with all of the rest of the health coaches that are out here because she is trying to serve wide instead of deep. It serves her well to be in her niche and go deep on that problem, create content on that problem, be the thought leader on that problem, and constantly have solutions for every type of case for that problem. She's making good money doing that, right? Those are the three perspectives that you have for your business, whether it's product based or service based. It does not matter. So once you realize that, you need to understand and ask yourself, well, what is the capacity that I have to serve in one of those three areas? Well, let's go through it. I told you about the wider, but let's go through what it looks like when you go higher. So if you go higher, you're probably going to, depending on the size of the project, the size of the contract, what it requires, you may have to contract out some work or bring on some employees. It's possible. You may have to, you may not. It depends on how high you are shooting in terms of what type of contracts you are looking to secure when you're wanting to go and serve a higher audience, right? Those contracts can be tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. Some of them can be multi-millions. But you have to understand what's being presented in the proposal and what's expected of you as a service provider to deliver. So that's where you can understand what your capacity is going to be. You know whether or not you truly want to deliver on whatever work is being outlined in those proposals. But if you know you don't shoot for something that is so extremely high or that requires a high workload of you that you know you don't want to do. Don't shoot for something that you know you're going to have to hire extra hands for when you know you just want to market yourself as the commodity and just use yourself as the solution. Don't shoot for something that you know yourself is going to end up being exhausted on because you're only going to stick to being a one-person show. And it's not saying that you can't, because there's several opportunities that are tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, on into the millions, that you can still be a one-person business and fulfill those proposals and contracts that you may not necessarily have to hire extra help for. However, you need to understand again your capacity to deliver a service for that group of people that you're going to be working with. And in that case, again, would be the government or would be corporations, larger organizations that have the budget to pay you large amounts of money at one time, which closes cash flow gaps for you and your business, right? So I talked about going wide, what it looks like. Again, your capacity going wide, you have to get generating leads is your number one thing. You have to get in front of a lot of people. And if you're going to go wide selling low ticket products, you're going to have to get in front of a lot of people, which means, in my opinion, you better get really good at learning how to run ads. Which means before you actually run ads, you're going to have to get really good at generating doing organic content. You're going to have to spend money on marketing. Your marketing budget should be really hefty if you're going to go wide, because you have to get a lot of people, and everybody that you get is not going to tell you yes. So you always have to get people. You always have to be launching. You always have to have something readily available that appeals to those people, right? When you go deep, your capacity actually shrinks, or it shrinks because it doesn't require much of you, right? Because you're focusing on 1 to 2 problems and you have several solutions for those 1 to 2 problems, right? So you don't have to worry about it being super strenuous because your focus is only those 1 to 2 problems. You know you already have the solutions for those, no matter what the case looks like, if you will, right? So when you better understand the ability of your business model to do such a thing, you understand what type of strategy you need to integrate to help their business model be successful. And I had a business analysis class. I had 2 people show up for that class. I really wish more people had been in that class, because now is the time for those of us that have had slow days This is your time to do a proper business analysis on yourself. And truthfully and honestly, you should be doing a proper business analysis on your business probably every 3 to 6 months. I would say at least once a quarter or every at least 6 months, right? Because so much is changing around us, and there's so many variables as that goes into those changes that we do not control. So you need to be very, very aware of what's happening in your industry. Now that I'm looking at you, Tina, being in the boutique industry, people don't even realize what was it? The boutique place, LA showroom closed. So that's gonna leave a lot of boutique owners displaced. They're going to have to figure out what their sustainability for their boutiques looks like. If that's the only place that they order from, which LA showroom has several different vendors, right? But LA showroom is closing next month. They're only taking orders up until the 11th of next month, right? And they're closing officially on the 31st. So if that, as a boutique owner, is where you were getting your clothing from, you got to figure out where you're going to get your clothes now, because they're not going to be available to you. It's important that you know those type of things in your industry and in your market. This is what being a thought leader is really all about. That's definitely part of being it, right? People in the boutique industry have to stay up on those things. So where do you source your clothes now? So now you're probably going to have to spend time. Hey, Latasha. Now you're probably going to have to spend time. Oh, no problem. No problem. It's okay. If you would like to purchase the replay, you can. You can purchase the replay for $39. Just let me know. But people who own boutiques, now you're probably going to have to end up figuring out where you're going to source your clothes. So it might look like you're going to have to step from behind the computer and go to the magic showcases when they come to local cities and they do their showcases. So you can talk to vendors. So you can figure out how to source your clothes, right? You should definitely have multiple sources, although they are closing within that time. You had access, should have built individual relationships with vendors. Exactly. But this is the thing. You have to come off the computer to do that, right? Okay, I'll send you the link to it. You have to come off the computer to do that, because this is the key to being in business, is building relationships. So even though LA showroom is closing, boutique owners are going to be impacted. If you still have relationships with those vendors that you have been ordering from, you probably should still be able to order from them. You just might not be able to do it through LA showroom. That is the key, and that is the winning component of building relationships for your business, because no matter when things start to change, you are able to have leverage, have flexibility, know how you need to navigate your strategy a little bit differently. You're able to do those things when you have your eyes on what's going on in your industry. It makes it easier to make quick decisions. And sometimes those decisions are painful, but sometimes as a CEO, you need to make quick decisions. And that is how you integrate sustainability within your business, right? I used to side message them within LA showroom, and now I get plenty of emails on incoming styles. Absolutely, because you built relationships with those vendors. So good for you. But I know there's a lot of boutique owners that did not take the time to do that, right? So some of them may be impacted, and you may see some delays, and it really sucks because we're coming up to the holiday time. And this coming up to holiday, we're coming up to Black Friday. Like, there's so many things coming up, so it really sucks. So if you didn't have a strategy for that, like, this is why knowing these types of things are key. But I did a business analysis class, and I had two people in the room. This was like last year, at the end of last year. And I talked about how to implement sustainability strategies according to what you analyze in your business. So going through and doing a SWOT analysis and understanding what actually you should be paying attention to in your business. And I taught those two students to do it. And they were able to successfully come back to me with the SWOT analysis, understanding like what their strategy should be according to where they were at that time. So that's another thing. When you are getting strategies in real time, and when you are getting information about your industry in real time, you need to be somebody who is a quick action taker, because the economy changes very rapidly. people's mind changes very rapidly. So if you don't go ahead and implement what it is that you know you need to do for your business at that time, you may get to a point to where your strategy becomes stale and you can't implement it. Now you need a new one because you move too slow. And so that's another component as to why a lot of people are having slowdowns in their business, because they knew that there were different things that they needed to do, but they implemented too slow. It is such a thing, right? Because at the time that you received it, you had such and such going on. Well, now such and such may have gotten worse, or it may be something completely different 6 months down the road. Consumer behavior may be completely different 6 months down the road, right? So when you find solutions to things and when you find information on things, you have to move very quickly because consumer behavior is changing by the second. You don't have control over it, and you don't have control over the economy, right? But going back to what I said, this is the time for you to figure out where you fall within that. And this is also the time to understand what your approach to business is going to be. If you do not have an offline strategy that is built for your business right now, you need to be making the time to create one, which means I'm telling you, one of these days, y'all gonna log onto these social media platforms and they're gonna be charging for you to get on here. And a lot of you all are not gonna want to pay for it because the landscape is free right now. So you're able to get on here, promote, do whatever. But it's made a lot of you all lazy. So whenever that time comes, and you have to figure out how to get out here to the streets and do what we used to do back in the day, you're going to be looking, trying to figure out, well, how am I supposed to build my business? Like, how are people going to buy my stuff? This is why I talk about having an email list, because people need to be able to have access to you outside of these platforms that you do not own. But going back to what I was saying, you need to have an offline strategy. Now is the time for you to figure out how to vend, how to go to networking events, how to attend conferences, how to build relationships with people, how to grow your business offline, how to build strategic partnerships and collaborations. Now is the time for you to figure that out. And the people who are doing real business are offline. I hate to keep saying it, but I'm telling y'all. The social media business will make you think that business is not businessing. So you need to be able to step off sometimes and look at it from a different lens and from a different exposure of people, right? And a different exposure of environment, right? So the way that you should be paying attention to your business model according to strategy, most of you all may have a one-to-one approach, but I'm going to strongly suggest that you work on opportunities to where you could do a one-to-many approach. Meaning, instead of you having to talk to people one-to-one in the DMs, right? Social media is beneficial, but it's definitely getting ghetto, it's beyond ghetto. But again, I tell my clients to use it as a tool because that's exactly what it is. Like, it's a quick portfolio tool. So if I meet somebody or somebody's talking my name up or referring me to somebody, they can instantly go to my page and they can see I actually talk about what that person said, that I know what I'm talking about. They can see how I teach, how I coach, how I speak, how I enunciate. Do I know my industry jargon? What type of topics do I talk on? What my demeanor and my character says? They can find all of that out within like 30 seconds of going to my pages. That's what I use it for. I don't care about getting no check from these folks. If you get one, I commend you, but I don't care about that because that's not what I'm using it for, right? Ideally, you need to have some sort of sustainability offline that's going to be able to keep you in rotation, right? And going back to what I was saying about building an offline strategy, you need to be doing the vendor events now. You need to figure out what your vendor event strategy looks like because that's real and it's coming back. You need to get out here and shake hands and hug people because that's how you build relationships, right? You need to attend conferences. You need to go to industry specific conferences, not all these brunches and cute places that you just want to go and take a picture. Hey, Clyde, you don't need to go to those places all the time. Like every event that you go to, that's all you attend. Like that's not helping you. I hate to say it. Hey, Tricia, I hate to say it, but when we having conversations about sustainability in your business, and the only thing that you can look back on and see is that you went to all of these conferences, that there was a bunch of brunches and mimosas that y'all just dressed up to take pictures, and now you screaming like, I don't have money in my business, my cash flow show slow. Well, call them girls that you was with at the event, tell them to come spend some money with you, because clearly you thought that was more important. Don't spend your money on places like that all the time. Is it good to do sometimes? Yes, empowerment brunches. I didn't want to say that, but yeah. Is it good to do sometimes? Yes, because we all want to have fun sometimes. However, if every event you going to, we drinking and taking pictures and we dressed up and we ain't got nothing done, and you sitting up here talking about I ain't got no money in my business, then we need to fix something in your strategy, because you ain't approaching this right. Your efforts are going to show what's happening, right? So you need to focus on going to industry specific events. And it may be scary. Hey, virtual helper office. It may be scary at first. But guess what? The people that don't know you already, that aren't comfortable with your vibe, that aren't comfortable with who you are, and they just like, oh, I know her, or oh, I know him, those are the people that's going to spend money with you quick. But if you never get in front of those people, if you're always only getting in front of people whom you're comfortable with or who you like to be around, you're probably always going to be saying, they're not spending no money with me, or I'm not getting the type of cash flow that I like. People who don't know you are quicker to spend money with you, period. Just period. Right? So you need to be asking yourself, are you going to do a one-to-one approach in your business, or are you going to continue to do a one-to-many? Attending conferences and stuff like that allows you to do a one-to-many, because you can always sell yourself better in person than you can online, because your character, your demeanor speaks, your warmth, your energy speaks, if that's the type of character that you have. Now, if you don't, then of course it's going to repel people. But you can sell yourself so much better in person and get very quick sales by just attending spaces like that. They make you grow. Pay to go to an event that's a special event in your industry, and pay to be a presenter. You don't always have to wait on somebody that's in your industry that's putting on an event to come and pick you. Pay to be a presenter, pay to be a vendor, and work the room. The only reason a lot of people get intimidated about that is because they don't want to go work the room and they want somebody to hand pick them. I'm not saying that's not great sometimes, but sometimes when you need leads and you need to be introduced to a new environment or a new type of people, you got to learn how to go hunt. And a lot of you all are suffering because y'all don't want to go hunt. And a lot of you all are suffering because y'all hunting in the wrong places. Like, I don't go to a lot of events because I already know the type of people that's gonna be there. Those are not the people that I want to like. Those ain't the people that I want to be exposed to in terms of trying to build my business, because they're not going to help me do that. Do I want to go out and shoot the crap sometime? Of course, I do it, but I have to be very particular about where I spend my time, because we as business owners, our time is money. Until we have money working for us, our time is money. Like, period. And it ain't feeling no type of way about it, right? But you have to learn to hunt. That's why selling is so cringy to you all. When y'all don't even realize that just having a good personality, having warming energy, and being able to talk to people about your business proficiently will sell for you 10 times more than a social media post will. Just for you coming in and being excited about what it is that you do and knowing that you're top tier at what you do. People can feel that immediately when they meet you, right? I learned that within my first 2 to 3 years, taking any event is not worth it. And sometimes exposure don't be exposing. I'm definitely picky about events, 100%. Because, I was in the vendor streets and I'm finna be back in them. Y'all finna be seeing Cultivate in a lot of vendor streets. Because that was my money maker for my jewelry business. And it could be the money maker for my coaching business too. But there's a different strategy that I would use with my coaching business that I did not do with my jewelry business, right? All of it comes with a different strategy and a different approach. You have to understand that. So these are how you put in sustainability measures to help your business pivot in any economy during any downtime, or even if you're just wanting to go into a new space and have a transition plan. Because sometimes you're not able to just stop doing a service or stop selling a product cold turkey. Sometimes you need to transition because you need that transition money until you get into the space that you actually want to be in. That's real. You outgrow offers, you outgrow services, you outgrow products that you sell. You might outgrow your brand. You're going to reinvent yourself individually several times over this lifetime. And with you reinventing yourself individually several times over this lifetime, it means your business is going to be reinvented several times over this lifetime as well too. Like, go and look at some of your favorite brands and see like where their logo was when they first started and where their logo is now. That's because each one of those logos has a different attitude behind it. It has a different company mission behind it. It has a different audience that they're desiring to serve behind it. So you have to understand how that works collectively and holistically to bring your business together so you are able to pivot when you need to pivot. And then not being scared to pivot. Because just because you started off one way, it may not be how you finish. How you start may not always be how you finish. And you need to be okay with that. Some of you all need to get real good with God coming to you and saying, okay, burn it down and we're going to rebuild it better. Some of y'all need to get real good at that. Because I'm telling you, it's like the most life-changing thing ever. And some of you all need to take some time off just to get some clarity. I know people are screaming at y'all every day about you can't take no downtime, you can't slow down, you can't do this. But listen, running in a hamster wheel confused, like, I don't know if that's more exhausting than actually not making money. I would think so. Because you already exhausted because you're not making money or your business is not working how you wanted to. If your business is not working how you wanted to for like 6 months or more, then that's probably indications that you need to slow down. You need to take an opportunity to do a business analysis. You need to consider what your business may look like differently, see what's not working, and see where you can be innovative. We are such an innovative people. So it's not that you lack the creativity. However, you have to sit still and allow that creativity and clarity to come out so you can pull yourself through the pivot. A lot of you all don't give yourselves enough opportunity to properly do that, right? Because you're scared to stop. But sometimes you have to. It doesn't mean that you're failing. It doesn't mean that your business is going to like shut down completely. And then for some of us in our industries, we need to go back to school. You need to go get some certifications. Y'all can keep letting these people tell y'all that degrees and all of this stuff do not matter. It matters depending on what you go for. Degrees matter, period. But it definitely depends on what you go for. Your certifications matter, period. It definitely depends on what you get it in. This is why it's important for you to study the market as to which you have an idea that you want to step into so you can see what the demand is over the next 10 to 15 to 20 years. And also understand what pivots may come with that market because of the changes that fluctuate within that industry. All of those are things that you should have your eyeball on 24/7 as a business owner, if you're a real business owner. For those of you that are just sticking to doing side hustles, it may not be as relevant to you because it's a side hustle. You may still have your 9 to 5. You may have other streams of income, whatever the case may be. However, for those of us that are serious about building longevity and sustainability into our businesses, this is what being a steward and a master of your craft looks like. So you going back to school or you going to get a certification that may equip you with skills that can help propel you forward and put you in a whole different tax bracket or market. I don't see what the issue with that is. Some of us need to do that because some of you all have been doing whatever you've been doing so long that maybe you have outgrown it. And that's not a bad thing. That could very well be a good thing, right? But you have to give yourself a chance to properly engulf in what's happening in your business. You have to be open and honest with yourself and admit that there are changes that need to take place in your business. And you also have to be open with possibly investing in the solution that you need, but also realizing too that you need to invest based off where your wallet can invest at that time. Nobody's putting pressure on you to spend more money than you want to spend. However, just know that wherever you decide to invest on the ladder, you need to take that resource, and even if it was $29, $49, $100, you need to take it and work it like you spent $10,000 on it. Whatever solutions or outcomes that you're supposed to get out of that, you need to work it and do them. So many of us will buy low ticket stuff like that, and we don't even take the time to implement it and go over it, when it could really be something that could help you shift from where you are now to where you want to be tomorrow or in the next couple of months. So don't take for granted purchasing something at a low price if that's what you can afford at the time, and not implementing it because it's a low price. Low price don't mean low quality. At least for me and my business, it don't. I can't speak on nobody else's business. Whatever I give out at any price point gonna be high value. Period. But I do know everybody can't afford my highest coaching package. I get that. That's why I have the master classes. That's why I do some things for free. That's why I tell y'all to get in the room. And y'all be so skeptical about getting in the room for people that truly want to help y'all. It's ridiculous. So now, right now, a lot of you all are looking scared and confused because you weren't in the room, because you didn't get connected to the resources, because you didn't immerse yourself into what the opportunity actually could hand you, because you were being selective. There's something that Pastor Darius Daniel said a couple of weeks ago as a part of his sermon. And he was like, some of us end up being so lost on our journey. I'm paraphrasing. He was like, some of us be so lost on our journey sometimes because we are looking for somebody to come tell us something in the spirit, but we want it to come from somebody specific. We want it to come from who we want it to come from, not who it's supposed to come from. And a lot of us miss the boat because it don't be coming from who we think it's supposed to come from. And then y'all be sitting out there looking crazy. So don't let that be you, right? If you see something that you need, even if you see something that you might not be sure that you need to ask questions. Because maybe you just need a question answered so you can understand where it falls within your business or how it can help you. And I know for me, for a fact, it ain't nobody on here that can't say that I don't always say how my DMs are open, that I don't tell y'all to comment in the comment section. I get you may be too shy to comment in the comment section. That's why I say my DMs are open. It's cool. Whatever we talk about, stay between me and you. I don't have to go tell 500 other people about it, right? I'm coming back next year. You first person on the call. Well, come on, baby, because my one-to-one coaching is going to be closing probably by the end of next year. This is my first time saying it. But come on. You know I love you. And I'll be ready to model some clothes too. So let me know. But like this is where we are in business now, you guys. And you all have to look at it very differently. And like I said, if you don't have an offline strategy, you need to figure out what that looks like for you. You need to understand, again, the 3 ways that you should be looking at trying to work your business or pivot your business into. Again, you can go higher, which means you're going to do B2C, which is corporate contracts, or B2G, which is government contracts. That's the higher space. You're going to work with organizations. People who you know are always going to have money. They're never going to run out of money to pay you. They're going to pay high dollar for things that you have to offer, whether it's products or services, and you'll have a larger amount of cash flow to work in between pay checks, if you will. Or you're going to go wide. But if you go wide, understand your capacity has to be large. Your endurance has to be massive. Because if you're going to go wide with low ticket products, you're going to have to get in front of, serve, maintain, attract, gather, hunt, for a lot of people. If you selling a $29 product and your goal is $20,000 a month, again, you got to get 690 people to buy it. So just understand your capacity that comes with that. I'm just letting you know. Okay? I'm not saying it's impossible. However, I'm saying you probably shouldn't let that be the only thing that you offer in your business model. Because right now, it's too rocky for that. Unless you're going to run some ads and have a hefty ads budget. And I'm talking like $5,000 to $10,000 to put at ads. And that's on the low end. Because ads ain't really performing like they used to. Organic reach is beating ads a lot more now, right? So, or you're going to go deep, which means you're going to take 1 to 2 problems that you want to be known for, specialize in, and you want to curate the solutions for all of those problems. Those are the 3 ways that you can work your business. Whatever one of those ways or combination of those ways, because you can have a combination, which what that looks like is in my business, I'm entering into the government contract space. I've done corporate contracts before. I'm adding more of those to my portfolio because consumer behavior has changed in the service industry. So I'm not necessarily looking to lower my prices. My prices are my price. I can change my audience. But I also have other options that are available for people who can't necessarily afford that price. And it doesn't mean they're getting lesser of an experience. It just means that's where they are in their journey right now, and that's what they can afford. And that's perfectly fine. Like I said, take it and use it like you spent $10,000 on it. It's going to help you move the needle in some sort of way. But you have to do the work. We're in a space right now to where we can no longer run away from doing the work. Like I've been in too many rooms here lately to where the conversations around small business owners, specifically minority business owners, is that we don't want to do the work, which is why we're not getting the opportunities, which is why people are not picking us, which is why we're missing out on so much money, which is why we're not getting the grants, because we don't want to do the work. And that is not an excuse. You can only get in what you put out. You can only get out what you put in, excuse me. That's it. So if you know you didn't put in the way you should have put in, don't expect that you're supposed to get this massive amount of put out. It's just not realistic. And a lot of you all need to come back down to earth, because some of you all, like, I understand being Delulu, but like some of you all are like real life Delulu and think that the effort that you didn't put in is supposed to yield like this $30,000 a month, and I don't understand. Right? The effort got to match. The strategy got to make sense. The dollars got to make sense. The moves got to make sense. You got to be able to see the money before you see the money come in your bank account. And I mean that through understanding what it is you sell, how many of you got to sell, how many of you got to keep available, all of those things. Knowing your numbers, right? Knowing your industry standards as well, too. That'll help curate a lot of what you all feel through anxiety. If you go and look up what your industry standards are, you'll see that a lot of you all are doing a whole lot better than what you think, right? So share this live with someone. That's all that I have for you all today. I will be doing a free workshop. I'm partnering with ADP. This is the first time y'all hearing it. I'm partnering with ADP to do a free lunch and learn workshop. Not next week, but I believe it's going to be the week after, on how to build a sustainable business model as a solopreneur and one-person business. We're looking at the date of October 8th, and it's free. So I'm telling you all now, when I put the link out to register, it's a free lunch and learn to come and learn what that looks like. And I'm partnering with ADP to do it. They're sponsoring it, okay? So take advantage. Again, when I do workshops, when I get on here and do lives, follow me on my YouTube channel, because I'm doing my last few lives here on Facebook, and then I won't be doing any more on Facebook and Instagram anymore. Everything will be on YouTube and LinkedIn. And then I'll sprinkle some reels and stuff like that on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. But that's it. My lives are going to be in those places, right? But come to the workshop, you all. Like, I'm building strategic partnerships to try to create more opportunities to get you all the information that you need. When I launch my academy, pay to be in the academy, because this is part of the curriculum that I'll be teaching on a weekly basis. There's a curriculum because I want you to come out with what I call your small business MBA. So the lack of business acumen, the lack of business industry jargon, the lack of knowing what to do, like it's a space where you're gonna be able to learn all of that. Guest speakers, my mentors to come in and speak on topics. If you have financial issues, like you don't have to be scared to tell us. Tell us so we can help you. That's the only thing that we can do. But you have to pay to get in the space. It won't be a free space. So when I launch the academy, come into the space, pay to be there every month and get what you need and get out or stay there forever. It's fine. No matter. But this is what we got going on. So share this live with somebody. Let them know that it's gonna be all right. We're gonna be able to make it through. If you gotta go back to work and get you a job for a little bit, go back. Cool. Come back out stronger with a strategy and kill it. We don't feel no type of way. We don't. We're encouraging you because we want you to do what's best for your well-being and your household. Or at least I am. This is me speaking for me. So if that's what you need to do, then do that. Right. But just work your strategy as to what that's going to look like with you returning and you wanting to come back into your business full time at some point. Okay. So I'll see y'all later. Hopefully you enjoyed this live and you learned something. And yeah, I'll see y'all on the next one.